Good evening, Earthbound Super Series, and welcome to tonight's race in the Earthbound Super Series Spoiler Cave Tournament. On the left, sitake. On the right, DNJ. In the middle, in the commentary booth, I'm Leslie Pro. So for this seed, you'll notice right away, we aren't going for any gift boxes whatsoever. We have to fight enemies for the items that we get. It's all one random pool, one encounter, one drop. The way you get this encounter is, well, gotta win the fight, but you lose it if on an instant win or if you get ambushed. Jones wants that snake right away to see what's it gonna drop. We'll get to that in a moment. Ooh, that's a skip item, jar of fly honey. And Sitake's first battle is going to be against a cop, which will be Jones' second battle. As for this seed, the bosses didn't look like super plush bears, the second item, so that's an upgrade from the teddy bear. And just like that, floor 1 is done. But Sitake wants more fights, but Jones is going to proceed ahead. And it looks like Jones is taking a look over the spoiler log for something. Admittedly, I am curious if Master Belch is a viable skip that's nearby. But here we have Brick Road, and with the scripted encounters in here, you're guaranteed to fight those without losing the item. I see that dad joke in chat. I have dropped that same joke myself. GG. Hold remedy, okay. Probably nothing too useful, but never know. And looks like Jones is also going into Brick Road. And to be fair, it's also cold here, so... Oh, got a burger. Good call using fire, but in case any help got called, didn't happen, wasn't needed. Sudden Guts pill, that could have some value. Okay, first piece of equipment is a cheat bracelet. That's also how we're getting our equipment, is through these fights. I guess anything that improves defense at this early point is a good thing. Stun gun, okay, we got a weapon for Jeff. Nothing too overly powered, which is something you want to avoid early. Because otherwise, the instant wins start flowing in, and you're losing items as a result. And it could be something good. It could be a heavy bazooka. It could be a multi-bottle rocket. It could also be, say, a Sea or Star pendant. Or a Franklin badge. Which, speaking of, that room did not show up in this seat. Well, the crow stole the cold remedy on Sitake's end. Mr. Baseball Cap drops, though, while Jones gets a plain roll. Oh, there's an instant win. Things you want to avoid, which with the crows, it can be difficult. Oh, we got an Earth Pendant. So, based off of what I see on the items, I don't think anything of value was lost. And in before somebody accused the John Lovitz drop of, and nothing of value was lost. Toy air gun, excuse me, I can words. So actually, it looks like what was missed was the stun gun, but toy air gun's the next one up. So I stand by what I said. Nothing of value is lost. Oh, but Sitake just lost an item there on that green swirl. Not sure what it was. I have no access to that knowledge, so I am reacting to it live, as is everybody else. That's just a bad break red swirl. There's no way to separate the party on that escalator, so if that happens, you just gotta grin and bear it. And Sitake just walked upstairs into a random. Ooh, now there's an item that can be useful in a pinch. Bag of Dragonite. And Sitake just got the same item, so end game against enemies that are vulnerable to fire. Let's just say enemies about to get cooked. Now, the hamburgers, well, it's a food item. It can be helpful. But the important thing from that is there are still burger skips out there, and that's the only way to get skip items is through these battles. Although there's another good item, Coin of Defense. It looks like the skate punk called for help, and the help wasn't enough. Oh, the signed banana, another skip item for Jones. But sometimes the items you get are complete junk. Picture postcard, case and point. Okay, good. Sitake did not miss sign banana. So nothing of value missed there. Uh-oh. Got ambushed by protoplasms. So Sitake's taking the weapons off on purpose to avoid. Wow, that is advanced tech right there to try and avoid the instant win. But eventually your levels just get to be too high to where coil snakes just are an instant win pretty much no matter what you do. Jones is taking a moment for a full heal. Always important because if you take a death, you also lose that particular item unless the character that has Spy used Spy on that particular fight. Here comes a Gruff Goat. Hits a smash attack on the Super Plush Bear for 1 damage. The most underwhelming crit of all time. Now, we do start the game with a ruler, so we are able to take this skip. So Jones has jumped ahead to Summer. Which, looking at the spoiler log, is floor 5. Meanwhile, Sitake continuing to take fights on the earlier floor to get items. Now, one strat you can do if you're low on psychic points and you get a crowd like this, you could go for Thunder, but Fire already took care of the 2 fly. Laser gun as a reward for that fight, which is good because the enemies do start to get intense as you go. And Sitake has picked up Hyper Beam. That's an even better weapon than what Jones just got. Do believe Jones probably taking a moment to look at the spoiler log. That's what I would bet to be the case. Now, Jones does get the back attack ambush on these Antoids. Still get the item, but you gotta win the fight all the same. So in terms of the item pool, it looks like Sitake is a couple of fights ahead. However, experience side definitely goes to Jones. I've seen Sitake play this strat before, in which he'll fight multiple enemies on the lower floors, not getting instant wins, and going through the item pool faster as a result. Unfortunately, cup of coffee, not going to be that helpful. Kirk, thank you for the resub. 4 months in a row. Welcome in. We do have a skip here, and this is definitely a forward skip without a doubt, because later enemies are already bleeding through. Now, most would say, wait a minute, why aren't we running from this? Well, if you run, you lose the encounter, and that is exactly what Jones doesn't want to do here. Which, you lose the encounter, you also lose the experience. I mean, alternatively, you can also use the spy command to steal the item as an option. Ah, solidified the atomic power robot. That's very helpful. Unfortunately, Rockin' doesn't seem to be working. And this atomic powered robot only worked there, and this robot is not cooperating. Now, if this enemy would stop replenishing a fuel supply, might be able to actually beat the enemy. Meanwhile, Sitake picks up a platinum band. And Jones decides that it's not worth it and loses the item by running, which, I mean, sometimes you have to. But still, it's good to know that you can steal the item with the spy command. Ooh, a double burger. Nice. Good food recovery item, and it counts as a burger for the burger skips. Snake bag. Ooh. Now, there's some strategies you can do with a snake bag that are kind of niche, where if you're fighting a really tough enemy and you don't have a Pharaoh's Curse, you can just use the snake bag repeatedly until your target gets poisoned. Again, very niche, very situational, but you never know when damage over time can make a difference in an ancient cave setting. Jones having a very long look at the spoiler log here, which I can tell you from experience is not uncommon. Ooh, PSI Caramel, very helpful. Anything that recovers psychic points is something that I consider helpful and useful. Another quick check of the spoiler, I'm assuming. While Sitake continuing to grind items. It's a strategy that has worked for him in the past, so I can see why he'd stick with it, go with what works. If it works, you run with it. Ooh, a super bomb. That's an excellent drop. As anybody in the party can use one of those. I don't think Bag of Dragonite's gonna do too much to this enemy. Wasn't able to run, but gets a free turn. Ooh, this is trouble. Oh, the flaming fireball absolutely barbecues the super plush bear, and now comes a spread fire attack, which does a lot of damage. Ooh, Sitake picking up a secret herb. Very good item in a pinch. It's the effect of healing gamma. So if you need to get rid of certain conditions, then that's the way to, as that is a very questionable neutral swirl. I think Jones got away with one there. Uh-oh. This isn't good. Trying to run. No. Not able to. And that's gonna be a 1 HP in a prayer situation. Good lord. Okay, good news is with the fly honey, you can talk to this. Oh no, that's the wrong NPC. That's the one that will fight you. So Jones busting out the stutter strats to get through as Sitake comes up with Jeff's second best weapon, a moonbeam gun. And look at this. A full heal for Jones. And that's a very good call to remember this spot. Personally, I would not fight those because that could be Cave of the Past enemies. Okay, Jones fortunate to get a free turn there as Sitake comes up with another good item, a cherub's and cup of coffee, not going to be very helpful, but what will be helpful for Jones is coming up with a lot of levels and learning a lot of PSI moves. Ooh, there's a Pharaoh's Curse for Sitake. That could come in clutch against Gygus in either phase 1 or phase 2. Say if you get a really nasty pokey that is freeze and fire resistant and you're having trouble getting damage, that's where damage over time strats can really come into play. Is now a Guts capsule has been picked up. And we've got ourselves a Wetnosaur, which we're fighting by getting an ambush. Which, honestly, dinosaur enemies, not to be messed with. Freeze attacks, Crusher Beam, good pickup. So despite being farther back in the item pool, I feel like Jones is holding their own pretty well in terms of getting levels and getting up to floor 9. Sitake is going to have some work to do in that regard, but will be better outfitted. So there really is a trade-off between the two strategies there. At least what I'm seeing, anyway. In terms of pendants, the only thing I've really seen thus far, chat correct me if I'm wrong, has been an Earth pendant. Now we're still looking for PSI Shield Sigma, which neither of our runners have. Some mummy wrap has been found. Now, mummy wrap has a property that when used, in addition to doing damage to its target, the target becomes solidified and cannot function for a turn. And I do believe I just saw a legendary bat drop on Jones' end. She's going to have a lot. I was right. She's going to have a lot of power with Ness using that. And still not getting an instant win on the dinosaur, because that's going to take a while. But that's still a very viable attacking option. The only bat that is arguably better is the crit rate on the Gutsy bat. Because your guts go up to a ridiculously high level. Like, it's 127 guts, which is halfway to the cap of 255. Both runners looking for enemies to fight for two different reasons. For Sitake, going through the item pool. For Jones, she's looking to not only go through the item pool, but get the experience needed for Giygas as Sitake comes up with a multi-bottle rocket. Save that for a very powerful foe. Yeah, Derek, Sitake has been staying in the same area, grinding crows to try and go through the item pool. He's done this before with this particular Z flag. Can't remember when the race was. I want to say it was within the last year. But by the time he got what he needed to go to 9, he managed to just fly through 9 much faster because he was just had the goods. Oh, we've got exploding Octobots. Oh, that's scary. Nah, I'd be calling out progress if progress was happening, but Jones seems to have found a good base to work out of. For each few fights that she's winning, she's going back to a nearby full heal. This is a very good grind spot. And a chicken. Well, there's only one thing to do here, and that's free the bird. But that's just me. As far as Earthbound memes go, that's the one that gets tracked in this game, is chickens freed. In PK Scramble, the one they really track is Teleport Vonks. Which, hey, speaking of, qualifiers for that soon. Still no PSI Shield Sigma. Well, Sitake comes up with a Pencil Eraser. That's a skip item. But I don't think we're going to be seeing you. Uh-oh! Yeah, that's retreat right there. To heck with what's in that item slot. You want nothing to do with that particular lineup. Haven't seen PSI Shield Sigma yet, and Jones is in the 30s for their party. Meanwhile, Sitake comes up with a Saturn ribbon and gets an instant win that he probably didn't want, but that's just the way it be sometimes. Another snake bag, and I just saw PSI Shield Sigma pop for Jones. Will she go to Gygas from here, or is she still looking for a pendant in the item pool? And a Saporma drops. Yeah, thanks, game. Thanks a lot. See, as a kid, I used to think that the Saporma would have some sort of hidden use. No. It has no use whatsoever. It only exists as a meme. Well, I guess if you want equipment to sell, a gold bracelet's a good starting point. Ooh, a goddess ribbon. In terms of ribbons, that is the top ribbon that Paula can have at any point in the game. Uh-oh, Jones, you got caught by a squatter demon. And Sitake has freed the bird. And there's Gygas. Looks like Sitake might be getting ready to make his move. However... Oh no, Sitake might have just made a big mistake here. That ruler was the skip to 5. And here we go, Jones pulling into Gygas at almost 32 minutes into the seed. Does she have enough to get over this obstacle to get into the finals? Question we gotta ask here is alpha or beta? And... oh, that's gross. And you got 2 kids in trouble here. However, it's not all bad news because in this seed, we do have a healing gamma user. Oh, and that's another beta. Oh, this is getting ugly. Now, what are you doing, Jones? I can't make it out here. Okay, this has to be an intentional wipe. Sword of Kings for Sitake. Excellent find there. So right now, Jones is trying to make the walk back to Gygus. All these diamonds popping up, and they're Cave of the Past enemies too, so if anything, this should be fine. Jones is pincered between two dinosaurs here. Well, was. But one of them thankfully left, and oh boy. This is where spawn tiles can get ugly. Oh boy. And at that point, Jones has reached for the reset button. Thankfully, she saved recently. At this point, I'm trying to wonder what else is Sitake possibly looking for here? I mean, magic pudding's a good item, don't get me wrong. Just I'm trying to figure out what else Sitake would be after. Maybe a sea pendant? A Franklin badge? Ori, to be fair, I had requested to free the bird as soon as the chicken showed up in the item pool. Meanwhile, she's going for round 2 against Gygus. Let's hope that the alpha beta goes way better this time than it did the first time, because first time it did not go very well. Hypnosis? That could have been a miss menu. Freeze resistant. Yuck. Nasty. It's quite clear we are going to need something to get over Porky here. As Porky is freeze resistant, one thing you can do is use the spy command to see what's going on with the resistances. Trade board, a very fitting name for this seed, I might add. And there's a star pennant. Sitake had to fight through a lot of fights to get to that point in the item pool. Also had some instant wins too. And for Sitake, he now has to deal with Titanic Ant, which is not going to be too much of a problem, because that ant ain't just playing dead, it's actually dead. And here we have the Chompasaur casting fire as it does. Ori, that's a bad idea. Speaking of bad ideas taking this encounter. That Starman took a beating. And for Sitake, it's showtime! Which, if you want a free minute or so to look at the spoiler log, yeah, it's actually a good use of showtime. I wouldn't say you're screwed yet. That's all I'm gonna say about that, to avoid spoilers. I will say this is one beefy dino. Now Sitake coming up to the end of the floor 3, and the floor 3 boss is I believe that's a sunny little pile. Did pick up an auto Star Master during that grind. That's something I have not seen from Jones. Ooh, backstage pass. Found Moonside. Meanwhile, for Jones, this seems to be the grind that never ends because the enemies just are not dropping what she needs to deal with Gygus. That and Nessa's HP stat is in the tank. If there were ever a time for a vital capsule to drop, this would basically be it. Okay, I don't know how that wasn't a red swirl, but this is dicey. Evil Eye can screw with you so many ways, and then there's the Starstorm that's used by Ghost of Starman. This is a very scary encounter. Now, the only thing about the Ghost of Starman is that it's a fight that's on a script, because it always starts with Starstorm Alpha. Then, as the turns proceed, you then have 4 turns to take it out before it fires off Starstorm Omega, and then the cycle starts in it. Flash Beta took out 2 party members on Jones, and I have... Normally you would see that with a Flash Omega, typically, but on a Flash Beta, that's some long RNG odds. There's a talisman ribbon on Jones' end. Sitake is continuing to truck away, now facing a lethal ass pyroglyph. And that Viper had no chance. Okay, Moonbeam Gun is very good for Jeff to have, because in most normal playthroughs, you won't find the Gaia Beam because the broken item that spawns at is a 1 in 128 drop. One that I've never seen personally. I do believe Sitake is on 5, and now it's a mini barf. Personally, I don't think I'd want that being for a cat after beating that enemy, but that's just me. Yeah, Rust Promoter DX might actually be good here because of all the metallic enemies that Jones has been running into on this knot. Sitake has found Summers. And here's a burger skip. Jones does pick up a Pharaoh's Curse. That would help in this particular Gygas situation. I know that Sitake jumped ahead. Let's see to where. He's jumped ahead all the way to floor 9, I want to say. Oh, there's a pair of dirty socks. Might be a bit late for those. We have a spoiler log check from Jones as Sitake is trying to get through, gets a single encounter. Well, that soul-consuming flame got ripped apart. Apparently, it was trying to make a bag of fries, but we're not gonna need that, I don't think. Meanwhile, troubling combination of foes over on Sitake's end, as that is a both Psychic Psycho and Major Psychic Psycho. Uh-oh, it puts up a... One of the things that Major Psychic Psycho can use is PSI Shield Omega. That's going to be a double bounce back on that Rockin' Beta. Not good. Taking a lot of damage in and... oh, this is really bad. Trout yogurt. Not a food item that I'd be interested in at this point in a seed, but... there's worse things that can drop. Yep, that was a bazooka. Just the standard bazooka, but that's still better than nothing. Yeah, this is a very tough situation for Sitake to be in, but thankfully... Okay, oh, Sitake needs a clean room in the worst way. Okay, might as well just charge through the slimy little pile that's scripted fight that happens to be here, and the item that drops is... Gaia Beam. Okay. Jeff's best weapon that he can equip. It's not as good as a heavy bazooka, but it's still serviceable. Where is Sitake going? I'm wondering, because I think there's a full heal right near here. Yep, Sitake does realize it and is heading in that direction. And now, talk to the face, and back to normal. So now we have a situation where both runners are on floor 9. Sitake much farther in the item drop pool than Jones. However, Jones is already, I guess, ready with PSI Shield Sigma. She just doesn't have a means of getting constant damage against Pokey right now. Meanwhile, this is about to get very bad for Jones, as she just cannot get away from this fight. Finally able to. Did lose a party member, though, but knows where the full heal is. But Sitake knows where Gygus is, but does not have shield. Rather, doesn't have PSI Shield Sigma. Unless I'm mistaken. Meanwhile, Jones is checking the stats, and here comes Sitake into 9. Rather, into Gygus. And in terms of defensive equipment, Sitake is definitely more Gygus ready, with a star pendant and a bazooka. We'll be able to get some constant damage against Porky while trying to get through to Phase 2. This is also a good situation to poison heavily armed Pokey because, honestly, okay, that's not Tessie. That's a Wetnosaur. I don't know why. Brain Shock Omega. That could be trouble. Okay, nobody got hit by it. Sitake fires the multi-bottle rocket, destroying the final Starman. Only gets a toothbrush for it. That's another PK Scramble reference right there at this point. Meanwhile, for Jones, here's Pokey and Gygus. She's just mashing the buttons right now. I need to see what options Jones goes for. Oh, a Brain Shock Omega. That is a very different strat that you don't typically see. Because the paralysis has not been working. Going for fire strats here. And I do believe that's a snake bag that I just saw get selected. That is a means of trying to spread poison, but you actually want that poison to hit Pokey here. Didn't work, though. This is why if I have a Pharaoh's Curse, I save it for a situation like this where a foe is just tanky as all heck. Because that's basically what this Pokey is. Tanky as all heck. Meanwhile, here comes Sitake into Gygus. Better equipped, has a bazooka. It's basically what it comes down to is not only all the prep, but Gygus as well. We could be in for a photo finish right here, folks. Wait, Sitake got the paralysis. Jones has not had the luck to get the paralysis on Pokey. Going for the revive. Finally, a rockin' goes and hits the other side. The revive was successful. Unfortunately, Pooh is down on Jones' side, so now it comes down to can Jones outrace? Okay, Pooh's back up on for Jones. Loki just took some friendly fire. Meanwhile, Nessa's in trouble, and I think Nessa's going to go down. Meanwhile, we have a very late lead change as Sitake has already gone through phase 1. Ness taking the brunt of that attack, taking both thunders. But don't look now. Jones is also through to phase 2. However, at this point, all that prep for Sitake looks like it could pay off. We will see. It depends on how the RNG rolls. And oh no, we have trouble. Jones has lost their prayer character, cannot finish the fight. That firmly puts Sitake in the lead, depending on what Gygas decides to do. This is probably one of the more brutal Gygas fights that I've seen in some time. And Sitake, making good use of Starstorm through phase 2, as suddenly Pokey is literally Scar from the original Lion King. Here come the prayer phases. That's the first one. Okay, Thunder heading towards Sitake's end is scary at this point because it hit Jeff and it also KO'd Pooh. So now it's whatever food items are in his inventory that can be utilized to keep Jeff alive. Fortunately, using a food item is going to use another, teeing up the Mammoth Burger. Sitake making seemingly all the right calls right now. Despite making one critical mistake earlier, has recovered super nicely. And if he can get through these prayers, is going to be on his way into the finals. Let's see what happens here. Here's a Master Criminal Worm for Jones. That's going to be big experience right there. Sitake now 2 prayers away. See what happens on these turns. Jones is re-entering the Gygas fight. Meanwhile, that prayer goes through. Sitake just has to get this one prayer off, and he will go into the finals. That's it. Get your GGs in chat for Sitake, who comes from all the way back to take this one with an official time of 1 hour, 9 minutes, 16 seconds. What a race! I will agree with that, Sitake. That star pennant was buried awfully deep in the item pool, but you stuck it out on that grind and came up with it. Jones opted to explore, and I got a sense of deja vu. While Jones struggled with Gygas, losing a couple of times, you just charged right in and took it first try. Definitely watch this one back. This was a wild finish. As the credits roll, it looks like Jones is going to stick it out through this particular attempt at Gygas. 99 cave length, not a very long cave this time around. Money on hand, 99. Number float cave length, 99. $1 per unit of length. Admittedly, that's amusing, and that tracks. Not sure what Jones is waiting for here. Give me a moment, folks. And it looks like... And it looks like Jones has waved the white flag. She's not going to finish this one. GG, Jones. This was a rather gross seed. I swear Sitake was knocking down crows for a good 20 minutes. Which is insane to think about, but that's what it took to get the star pendant. There was a lot of good stuff that popped up as a result, including, let's see, an Auto Star Master, a bazooka. Yeah, this was this Gygas fight was just all sorts of levels of nasty. And it did not help that the game was just being... The item drop list was kind of disgusting this time around. I've seen the item drop list be nice. I've seen it be gross. This one was on the gross end of it. No doubt about it. So I'm going to pull up the spoiler bracket here. So with this, we're down to the nitty-gritty. Sitake is now on to the finals, while Jones will take on the winner of tomorrow night's race between Kelly Seaman and Ace Trainer Brooke. The winner of that takes on Jones in the danger bracket semifinal, where the winner will face Sitake. And with that, GG's to both of our runners, Sitake and DNJ. Give them both a follow. They do great stuff here on Twitch, on their own streams, as well as throughout the Earthbound community. Also, feel free to give me a follow if you feel so inclined. I am involved in Earthbound in the community, as well as I do some other stuff as well. Definitely worth checking out. And don't forget about Derek, our restreamer. Shoutouts to him as well for doing the restream. But with that, it is time to call it a night. We are rating Lantro for our two runners, Sitake and DNJ, our restreamer, Derek. I'm Leslie Pro. Until next time, stay kind, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Good night, everybody. Take care.